Hey, David, what have you got there? I've never seen one of those.
Huh? It's a book. You've seen me with several books, big old ones. What do you mean you've never seen one?
That little thing is a book? I've only ever seen them big enough to kill a grotesque with.
Yeah, that makes sense, but this is one of my favorite books I've read. It's an old one from 1934.
That is ridiculously old. Wait, you're from the early third millennium? That's almost 100 years old by the time you were born.
A little more than 60 years old when I was born. I'm the last year millennials, born in 96, man. I'm a year off from being 30. But yeah, I started reading Edgar Rice Burroughs when I was in junior high, I think. I was immediately hooked. People might know of 2 of the book series he wrote just because of what Disney did. I hate Disney for this reason, but Tarzan of the Apes and John Carter of Mars both were written by him in the early 1900s, but those who watch the Disney movies throw them out the fucking window. Clayton is Tarzan's cousin. Carter didn't go teleporting between Earth and Barsoom. I hate Disney so much. But the Venus book series, let's look at it. First book is Pirates of Venus, the series sometimes called Amtor, but it's dependent on the individual. I'll be calling it Venus, though. The series starts with Carson Napier, who intends on flying to Mars, believing it to be a perfect world to colonize, but shit goes wrong, and he ends up going to, Venus, and crashing into it, splitting through the thick clouds and falling to the world. Most of the species on Venus are rather humanoid, other than the few differing features, but there's a few that aren't. Inbred fish, some bird things, and the likes. But I'll admit, it's been almost 20 years since I've read the books, but I remember a bit of it. Auto-driving cars, ranged weapons that can fight from miles away, skyships, and a whole city that keeps its citizens under control by fear, but they believe themselves to be in the best situation. Cough, North Korea, cough. But there's a lot I can't exactly remember how it ends. I know Edgar Rice Burroughs has a habit of self-inserting himself into the ends of his novels and series. If I remember correctly, Burroughs gets a message from Venus somehow and writes the series based off of it. It essentially ends the same way Mars ends. Hell, I've read the Mars series as well, but for whatever reason, it didn't stick as well. I remember the overall stuff. Man wakes up on Mars after dying in the Civil War, ends up making friends with a giant green quadrupedal alien with chameleon eyes, and teaches him that getting married and settling down isn't a bad thing. He himself falls in love with a red woman, fights some white and black Martians too that believe they're death gods. But this is just one series that Burroughs did. Another one that I really enjoy is Tarzan. Disney said that he was raised by gorillas, but no, he wasn't. Gorillas had nothing to do with Tarzan. Well, they had a little bit, but not much to do with Tarzan. The apes in questions are the Mangani, a fictional species of apes that are highly intelligent but still simian. His parents were killed by the king of the apes, Kerchak, who in the Disney film is his gorilla dad, despite the fact Kala hated him. Seriously, Kerchak killed Kala's mate and tried killing Tarzan several times because he was different. Kala damn near kills him on several times too. Now, our main character, John Clayton II, named Tarzan by Kala, meaning white skin, in ape tongue. Tarzan obviously has trouble fitting in with the other apes because he's human, after all. So he goes on depressive runs through the jungle. Eventually he finds his parents' home, learns a bit about them and his origins. He can't read the writings, but he recognizes the man in a picture book looks remarkably like him, and he figures out that the man in the book is his father. Looking more through the books, he finds out he's not a freak mutant, but one of the apex species of the world. Now, using the pictures in the books and basic understanding, he teaches himself how to read. Kind of. But he never heard the language, so he can't speak it. He can just figure out marking X means Y. There's a lot more stuff in just the first book, like him needing to kill Kerchak and become the king of the tribe, but I think the interesting part is what happened to Kala. She does die, like in the Disney movie, but not by the guy they call Clayton, who's actually his cousin, but a tribal prince of a human village. Leads to a full-ass war. But then Jane and Tarzan's cousin, William Clayton, they're engaged by the end of the book, and about to get hitched. They teach him English, another guy teaches him French. Will and Tarzan fight back against the damn near entire Jaguar tribe that's been hunting the Mangani. Tarzan does fall in love with Jane, but things don't exactly end happy. Will and Jane get married between books. Tarzan finds out he's the rightful heir to the title of Lord Greystone, something his father wasn't yet, but a viscount. And he decides to throw the title away so that Jane and Will can live comfortably. There's a lot more books, though. Tarzan was popular. I think there's 5 books? 8? I can't recall. Most of Burroughs' series are 8 books long. Let's look this up. 26 books long? Some of these were published after he died, though, so... But I've only mentioned 3 series. How many series are there? A lot. 8 different series and a bunch of smaller novels, short stories, and just fun projects he had. Some of these tie into others, while others are just completely at random. Jungle Adventures loosely ties into the Tarzan series, but not very well. But if you want some sad stuff, the War Chief is one heartbreak. Eternal Lover, sometimes called the Eternal Savage, it's spicy for the year 1914, okay? In fact, a lot of the Jungle series involves women specifically. Right, I forgot about The Land That Time Forgot. They made a whole TV show based off of this. Edgar Rice Burroughs is one of my favorite writers of all time. If you have an interest in anything, he's probably written a book for you, whether you know it or not. Of course, some of his books go by a lot of different names. For example, the Moon series is sometimes called Argosy, and has a weird publication time. Some parts of the world, Part 2 came before Part 1. Some never got The Moon made, Part 1 of the series. Venus is a short 5-part book series that is really good to start out with, even if you're not a strong reader. I was in elementary school and junior high reading it. I was not a smart kid. You can do it too. Be like Tarzan and teach yourself to read if you need so.
Hey, David, why are you talking about ancient novels now?
Honestly, Swanforge on Twitter convinced me to make a video about books and my favorite ones. I've been wanting to make a book club for years and start out with the Tale of Genji, but my friends and I need to make time to meet up. Reading time ain't a problem for me. I can easily not go on the computer for an hour a day to read a chapter, no problem. But yeah, look into some old novels and enjoy and shove off.